Let's talk about the digital nomad visa. This is a recent and a new visa that the Colombian government implemented, especially after COVID, that everyone can work online, live remotely, meet and see different cultures. So many countries started implementing the digital nomad visa to incentivize remote workers to live in their countries. Colombia is not the exception. They established this visa in October 2022. And I've seen a lot of digital nomads move here and enjoy their lives in this beautiful and amazing country, which is Colombia. So if you're watching this video, probably you're wondering, what do you need? What are the requirements to apply for a digital nomad visa here in Colombia? And in my opinion, I think it's a really easy visa to obtain. You just need to fulfill the requirements, and I feel a lot of people fulfill them because after COVID, we just start working in our computers. We don't need to be physically somewhere, and many companies are just giving you the option to work remotely. So why not just work and enjoy a different country, right? So let's go to the requirements. Before we go to the requirements of the digital nomad visa, let me introduce myself. I am Luisa. I am a Colombian lawyer. I am based in Medellin, Colombia, and in my law firm we can help you processing your visas, establishing a company in Colombia, and we also do intellectual property matters. In this channel, we're gonna be talking about all the legal things you need to know if you're planning to relocate to Colombia, if you're planning to start a business here. In general, we're gonna be talking about legal matters in Colombia. So let's go with the requirements for the digital nomad visa. The first thing you need, of course, is a valid passport. The second thing you need is a proof of income of at least 3 minimum Colombian wages. This is around 3.5 million peso, which in US dollars, you know, the dollar is always like changing, but as now it's around like $800. You can be employed or self-employed. So if you're employed, we need to provide the contract that you have with your company, proving that you can do your job remotely. Or if you are self-employed, we have to provide the certificate of your company, proving that it is your company, that you're the owner. Or also, like, you can be providing independent contractor services. For example, if you're a remote lawyer or a remote designer, that you, for example, provide your services through Upwork, we need to provide proof of all of that. But especially the most important thing of this visa is that you're a remote worker. You cannot apply for this visa if you work for a Colombian company or if you own a business that is based in Colombia. You have to basically prove that your income comes from another country and that you can do your job remotely. The third requirement is health insurance. You need to provide health insurance in Colombia, in the country, and I always recommend my clients to get health insurance with a local insurance company in Colombia, because that way we can fulfill all of the requirements that the law has specifically for this health insurance, because it has some specifics that you of course need to provide, and sometimes foreign insurance companies don't provide the whole coverage in the country. So I usually recommend that we go with a local insurance company. There are some things that you need to take into account when applying to this visa. The first one is that this visa can, like, this whole process can take around a month and a half. So you need to apply taking this into account. Also, you can apply for this visa being inside of Colombia or being outside of the country. And the last thing you need to take into account is that you can get this visa for up to 2 years, but all of the visas that we've processed at the firm in this last year, they have been approved for 1 year, and then people have to reapply for their second year if they can prove that they are still like in the same conditions, working remotely, their passport is valid, also proving that they've been in the country in Colombia legally, like during the term of their visa. Also, take into account that these are the basic requirements, but the Cancillería is the entity that it's in charge of processing all of the visas, can of course ask you for additional information. It's super important that you take this into account and that you provide the information in the term that they give you to provide the additional information. If you don't provide the additional information during the period of time that they give you to provide the additional information, your visa can be denied or inapproved. Now let's talk about the fees for this visa. The first fee that you have to pay is for the study of the visa, that is $54 US. They can charge you an additional percentage if you're gonna pay with an international credit card. Then when your visa is approved, the cost of this visa is $177 US. This visa, it's completely online, and after COVID, all visas are online, so you don't have to travel to Bogota to get your visa stamped in your passport. You just get your visa via email. And the last thing you have to pay is for your foreign ID, or in Spanish, cédula de extranjería. It's mandatory that you get a cédula de extranjería if your visa is more than 3 months. As I mentioned before, you can get the digital nomad visa for up to 2 years. So it's gonna be mandatory that you get a cédula de extranjería with Migration Colombia or Migración Colombia. This has a price of 270,000 peso, around 50 USD. Also, this is mandatory, but this is also going to make your life easier in Colombia, because with your foreign ID you can open a bank account, you can lease an apartment easier. So this is going to be an amazing thing to get. Besides, it's mandatory that you get. Finally, something that I want to talk to you about is that this visa is a V-type visa, a visitor's visa. So with this visa you cannot add up time to get your residency later on. So take this into account. If your plan is to get a residency, then you need to look into other options to obtain an M-type visa. But with this visa, it's just a visitor's visa. It's just for you to come to the country, to enjoy, to work remotely, but you cannot add up time for your residency. That's gonna be it for this video. If you want more information about visas, about legal matters in Colombia, subscribe to this channel. And if you want to apply for a visa, or if you have any questions, please go to the link that I'm gonna leave below, where you can schedule a 15-minute free call with one of our lawyers. We can guide you through this process and help you if you have any additional questions. I know that a visa process is really particular for each person, so please make sure that even though you know the requirements for this visa, book a free consultation call with us so we can go through all of your documents and check out your specific situation. And also, if you want to apply for a different type of visa because the digital nomad visa doesn't work for you, also schedule your call for this matter. I'll see you in the next one.